I'm here in Austin at the F1 qualifying race this weekend. Shell has sent me here for the weekend, so a huge thank you to them for sending me here and sponsoring this video. So we're gonna actually see the F1 qualifying race today, but before that, we're actually gonna take a tour of the Shell lab, and we're gonna see something called the connected car as well. What's really cool is Shell actually has a trackside lab at this race. All right, let's go to Houston and see how the fuels are actually made. All right guys, now that we've seen the F1 cars, let's see how these fuels are actually made at the Shell Technology Center. So right now we're gonna learn about how Shell fuel protects against gunk, corrosion, and wear.
Everything that we put into the Ferrari Formula One cars obviously is developed and produced by us. It's all done in Germany. So, but globally, we actually take all the learnings from all the test work, all the development work that is done together with Ferrari, Maranello. We implement in our own fuels all over the world. So the Shell V-Power fuel benefits from all that knowledge. The three main benefits of the Shell V-Power Natural Plus Premium Gasoline here in the US. Protection against gunk, corrosion, and wear. When we talk about protection against corrosion and wear, we have, for example, fuel pumps. So if you have any level of moisture, sometimes moisture gets into the fuel system. If you have a fuel that would not protect against that, you could actually get corrosion in some parts of the fuel system. The output from an actual test where we tested a competitor fuel. So this is another premium fuel. And that's a new spindle, so that's for the comparison. And that's the result with Shell V-Power Natural Plus Premium Gasoline. So you can see that in this particular bench test, it's very clear that not all gasolines are the same. Wear is usually the hardest one to really describe and talk about. In the combustion chamber, you have a piston. And this piston, the job of it is to really make sure that combustion takes place. The lubricant keeps the piston, well, obviously lubricated, but also cools everything down. But in addition to that, if the lubricant actually cannot get to the top part of the piston ring, because ideally you don't want oil in your combustion chamber, right? You want the oil to stay where it needs to do this best job. So the top piston ring is usually starved of oil, and that's where the fuel that contains an anti-wear component can actually play its role. So by protecting that top piston ring, that's really what we talk about. Everything else below that is the lubricant's job. So the idea is that Shell V-Power Natural Plus Premium Gasoline would actually help clean those deposits, but it will also prevent them from forming. One doesn't have any deposits, one is clean, the other one is dirty. The clean valve, what will happen is that probably the fuel will evaporate real fast and you may not see any flames come out of this one. So you see how this one doesn't burn because it's clean, but the one that has the deposits in it is burning for longer.
And so in these laboratories, we're designing and trying to understand what happens when you rub two pieces of metal together. And that's the fundamental of science of lubrication is what we're looking at friction, wear, and the lubricants that comes in to mitigate that. So let's go in the lab and see some of the basic stuff that we do. Okay, so we can evaluate chemistries that will allow us to understand what's happening in that engine. And then we can evaluate different things. This is a ring that we use to evaluate clutch friction. So in a clutch design, we have to have an engine oil that will give us friction, right? We have to have a transmission fluid that will actually give us friction. Because if the clutch slips, you can't get into gear, right? And this is made from natural gas. So basically we start out, instead of cooking off a crude oil that refines and trying to get down to different things, we make it from the beginning basic block, the single carbon. Is those cold mornings for those guys who work up in Portland or Minnesota, just trying to push this engine at 40 below. This is what happens. right? This is what happens between a good product and a slow product. And those differences, those seconds of differences, is what's gonna help to protect that engine when you crank that engine 100,000 times a year.
Guys, now I'm gonna be getting into 4 different GM connected cars. The first one I'm gonna be driving is this Escalade. We're actually gonna be driving these cars from Houston to Austin to the F1 race. So it's gonna be a little road trip in these cars. I have never driven something this big before. It's like driving a truck. We just started our road trip from Houston to Austin. We're with Sean, who's a scientist at the Shell Labs. So Sean, why is it better? What makes Shell products better than competitor products?
Well, it starts with the analogy I always use is making soup. And it starts with the base oil, which is our GTL products. It's made from natural gas. And in making that product, the product is 99.9% pure. That gives us the capability of producing a very low viscosity oil, allowing us to make a very cold resistant oil, as well as the resistance to high temperature at the same time. So now you have a base stock that just starts out well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like when we saw that in the demo too, where you had the 2 oils pouring down to simulate the cold temperature viscosity. All right, you guys, we just got out of the Escalade, and the second car we're gonna be jumping into is the GMC Denali. So 2 big trucks this morning. All right, guys, we're in car number 2, the GMC Denali. Okay, guys, in car number 2, Matt's gonna show us how we can actually use the Shell app that's integrated into this car. Go ahead, Matt, all you.
Sure, so what you see on the dash here is GM. I'm gonna go into GM's marketplace. One of the reasons we partnered with GM is they have a pretty robust app ecosystem, which they have called Marketplace, which has a number of different apps that are available from different merchants. So Shell being the primary fuels merchant here, so you'll see that on the featured menu we have Shell Pay and Save. So if I tap into the Shell app, it automatically pulls up the closest Shell site to you. You can see once you're at a station, the Pay and Save feature will become available. But outside of that, you can look at the station details for the nearest site to you, which will show you the different amenities or features of that station. So you can see that the station is 3.8 miles from us, does have Pay and Save as a feature. So you could use in-dash payment there or use your mobile app to pay for your gasoline. You can also see some other services that the site orders, or the site has. And you can also get directions. So if I did directions, it will actually pull up the GPS navigation in the car and direct you to the nearest Shell site.
So cool.
So one of the other cool things about in-dash payment, so the save part of Pay and Save refers to our loyalty program with fuel rewards. So we've already linked our loyalty account to this particular vehicle. So members that are gold status, so you just shop at Shell a certain number of times to maintain your status. And if you're gold status, that means every time you come and shop at Shell with the fuel rewards program, you'll save 5 cents a gallon. So you can see this showing that we'll save 5 cents a gallon on any fill up that we have.
That's awesome, and it's awesome that it's so integrated and it's just so easy to like access your fuel rewards too. Guys, I'm actually at a Shell gas station in Texas where I'm gonna pay for my gas using the Shell Pay and Save app, which is integrated into this GM connected car. So watch this, guys. We're gonna hit Pay and Save, and then we're gonna enter in just a second the pump number we're at. We're at pump 5. And then we're gonna enter a code for security. 2018, super secure, of course. And then it's also integrated into fuel rewards, so you guys can see we're gonna save 20 cents a gallon by using the system. So we're just gonna hit confirm, and it's that easy, guys, to pay for gas using the system in the GM connected car. All right, you guys, we're in car number 3. We're in the GMC Canyon Denali, which is actually a pickup. It's kind of cool, as a part of our Houston to Austin road trip. We're with Megan, who is gonna tell us about diesel engine oil.
So the GMC Canyon is a gasoline powered pickup truck. So normally I'm in diesel trucks, and Shell Rotella is a heavy duty engine oil that is used in everything from a diesel pickup truck that you would see driving down the road to the big semi trucks that carry heavy freight, all the way to agriculture equipment that is harvesting crops, to construction equipment, even to giant mining trucks that if you stood beside it, you would not even come up to halfway of one tire. The difference between diesel engine oil and what we call passenger car motor oil, which is used in gasoline powered engines, is the percentage of the additive to the base oil. So in diesel engines, they have a different combustion process than gasoline powered engines, and they have more soot in the engine. And so more additives are needed, basically more chemicals, if you will, and less base oil. So there are definitely differences. So you cannot mix a diesel engine oil and put that in your car, and vice versa for the most part. Another interesting fact is that tends to be that drivers of diesel trucks tend to know a little bit more about their engine oil than maybe your average consumer that drives a car. And really the reason for that is trucks that are diesel powered tend to be used in commercial applications, so for businesses, and so thus that piece of equipment is critical to that business, and to make sure that it lasts as long as it should and performs the way that it should, and the engine oil is a critical piece to that. And so they tend to be knowledgeable and very loyal to the engine oil that they use, and Shell Rotella is definitely the #1 heavy duty engine oil.
And then this behind us, guys, is the 4th and final car we're gonna be driving on this road trip. What's up, you guys? It's Saturday, right before the qualifying race, and we're walking down pit lane right now at Circuit of the Americas, and it's really, really awesome. It's just such an experience because everybody's like running around, everybody's trying to set up, and it's kind of really awesome to be walking on the actual track. I hope you guys enjoyed watching my weekend in Houston and Austin. Thank you again to Shell for making this all happen. You guys should definitely check them out. I'll link all their stuff in the description below. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment letting me know what you guys thought, and subscribe to my channel, guys. Bye!